Hello everyone, welcome to Switchcraft. My name is Jana and I'm sitting here as usual with my co-host Julian Borner.
Hey there, well, as usual,
Not
a
quite
bit
as
farther
usual,
apart
yeah.
this time.
And this time we have finally another guest. We have Katha.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, she's probably more known as Katha FBS and she's the founder, owner, and yeah, she's FBS. So yeah, let's talk about you for a second. So when did you start fingerboarding roughly, or how did you get into fingerboarding?
Like my first fingerboard I picked up in like 2003, 2004, like some sort of plastic fingerboards. I just saw them in the a store where you can buy toys, and it wasn't even tech, some random stuff. And I had like fun with it for like 4 weeks or something, and I just was like rolling around and couldn't really do tricks with it, and didn't know that you could do tricks actually on a fingerboard. Then I forgot about it for like a year or two. And like late 2005 in winter, I thought about them again and noticed that I didn't have the plastic boards anymore. And I went online and like discovered like all the things like reverb, Berlin wood, people like doing like kick flips and ollies on the board, and like that was the point like when I got hooked and like bought my first professional board, like my first Berlin wood with like tech trucks, and started to try to learn ollies and all the basics.
Cool. So yeah, you've been fingerboarding for quite some time, it seems like. Yeah, I always thought you started a bit later because I think you got like, let's say, prominent in the scene after I got out of the scene. Like, I don't think we overlapped back then.
Yeah, we like missed each other like a few years.
Yeah, probably by only a small amount of time. When was your first? Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
I
go
have
on.
to butt in. No worries. It's I remember buying my first set of Winkler wheels through you actually, through the FBS shop, and that must have been February of 2008. So it figures that you had something to do with it, like way longer back. Kind of, you just don't start up a workshop out of the ground.
No, I was fingerboarding before.
Yeah. So how what's the story behind FBS?
Like how it started?
Yeah.
Like
if you want to disclose that. Like,
yeah, it's like people know it. I think like really like old school people from fingerboard.de, they know the story or like saw it happening. Actually, it started with like colored bushings. Like back in the days, we only had like the black rubber bushings that came with like whip tape.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, yeah, it would be so cool to have like colored bushings to match our setups and stuff. I was like, it must be possible to get that stuff somewhere.
Yeah.
And so they like went on the hunt for it and found a company that could make like colored bushings the size for fingerboards. And then, yeah, that's how it started. And actually, I just wanted to have the bushings. And that's how it started with like a website where you could like email me your order and like post them on the fingerboard.de community.
Yeah.
And that's how it started basically. Just some color.
Okay, I see.
Cool. And how did you get to your website? Because I know back then it wasn't that easy to create a website. I mean, by now it's much easier to create a website or a web shop, and even still, people who have no experience with tech, let's say, are usually a bit, they don't jump into it right away. How did you get to happen to have a website? Like, how did that come about?
The first website I had was like, I made it myself. Like I was in high school at that time and had like an afternoon class where I learned to like program like basic websites like with HTML. But really it was like self-coded and like basic like contact form that was sent to my email, and that was it. So like it's totally different than nowadays. So that you can have like a professionally looking website in like 5 minutes. Just signing with your email. So yeah, it was a bit of a struggle back then, but it was fun.
And
like doing it.
So after you found the bushings, what was the next step for you? Did you jump into buying stuff from established companies and selling that through your channel as well right away, or did that come way later?
It happened like within a couple of months. Like I had the self-made website with the contact form, and I just got a bunch of emails like daily. And I figured out it was like way too complicated to like handle it like via email and like sending 2 or 3 emails back and forth, like asking about how they want to pay and stuff, and like where's the shipping address if they forgot to enter it or something. So I looked for like online shop software to use, and it took like 2 or 3 months to like really set up a store and everything. And I just figured it was way too much work to just sell the bushings. So I talked to people that I already met at events like Timo from Bollywood and Flaked back in the days, Shortwood.
Yeah, I still have one on my wall.
I think I have one too, yeah. And yeah, just like talking to people that like have had their own store or just sold their stuff on like Fingerboard.de, or even people like Tom from PopTech. You only could get like one of his boards like when you actually met him in person. So the idea was, okay, like have a place online where you can get like the stuff you usually only get in person, or like that's only like in the German community online.
Right.
So, yeah. That was like the idea.
Was there like a point when it became internationally known that you do that stuff? Because I imagine at the beginning it was only the German scene you were catering to.
Yeah, in the beginning was pretty much people like I met at events and like via Fingerboard.de, and then like I went on FFI and also translated the more professional web shop to English, and then it started to like get international. And like I started to ask people from different countries if I could get their stuff for my website. And back then it was like only, not sure if even like River had like international stuff back then. I'm not really sure. Maybe some flat stuff. I don't know. Yeah. But like I think I was one of the first that started to get like products from all over the world like in one place.
Yeah. Really cool.
I think you were also one of the first people to actually have preets on your web shop, or is that just a rumor?
Well, fun fact, on the first event I went to, I actually met Peter. He was one of the first fingerboarders I ever met in person, and I don't know if it was the first web shop that had preets, but I think I had them pretty early on.
When was your first event?
I think it was roughly like summer 2006. So like I was fingerboarding for like a year, and like the only thing I could do was an ollie, but it was like still a super fun event. It was like at like a craft store in Karlsruhe, just like a promotion for a brand of pants. Stabilo Demo, it was called.
Yeah, I've been there 2 times. One in 2006, one in 2007.
Really?
Yeah.
We the same event and we didn't like notice. I'm not sure.
I mean, Henneman and Jean recently found images from that event, and they found me in the photos as well, which is why I know that I was there 2006.
Oh, that would be crazy.
It's a small
I remember like Peter was there, Martin Ehrenberger, Martin Winkler, Philly.
Yeah, Philly I remember as well.
And some other people, but I don't remember the name.
Oh, funny. Yeah, back then the scene was quite small. Like when you made it to events and you went there a few times, or when you were in the online forums, people just knew each other, like.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't knew this back then, and I came to the event, and like, I remember Martin Winkler coming to me like, "You're the girl from fingerboard.de, you're on the community," and like he even told me my nickname, and I was like, "Oh my god, like Martin Winkler knows who I am." It's crazy.
Yeah, the first time I hung out with him, I also was like, how the fuck does he know who I am?
Yeah, crazy. But super.
He knows everyone. He's the father of all fingerboard.
Yeah. by now, the grandfather.
Weird thought. Let's drop that. Anyway.
So, and when did it become like a job for you? Because I imagine at the beginning it was something you did from your home. When was it first that you had to deal with stuff like taxes, invoices for people who didn't pay or stuff like that? Because I imagine all that stuff is a nightmare in general, and especially when you're young and haven't dealt with that yet.
Yeah, true. So like the Bashis came like in 2007, so I was still 17 back then, and it was just like giving it a try, like just offering something. And like by the end of the year, like my parents said, okay, like we should maybe talk to a tax advisor about that. And so actually when I turned 18, the first thing I did was like registering a company.
Cool.
I had the FBS signed up before I had my car license, my driver license. So actually I'm paying taxes ever since. It was like learning by trying, learning by doing, more or less.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people struggle with that in the scene, and yeah, it's not always as professional.
Yeah, as I said, you can get a website that looks professional, but it doesn't mean that it is professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, So nowadays you have, let's say, a select number of brands usually in your shop at most times. What is the criteria for you to do something with another brand, like to make an order, anything?
Like if I don't know the person at all or the brand at all, I try to find out if they main criteria is if they support the community, like do they organize events themselves or do they sponsor events, and of course like the quality of the product. But like I think right now everything I have in store is by people I personally know. So it's a combination of like product quality and like the degree to which they give back to the scene.
Bless you.
Have you ever had to withdraw a product from the shop because you weren't, or didn't even put it up because you weren't satisfied with the quality or something else?
Probably. But I don't have an example like at the top of my mind, but probably I did.
Oh yeah.
Like ordering stuff. Huh?
No, nothing. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, probably I did order stuff and then it turned out it was not as good as like the first sample I got like to test, and like the actual words or something wasn't like good enough. I think probably stuff like this happened to me. I'm pretty sure. So yeah,
that's always a criterion for me, because like if you test the board or a brand and the first is amazing, like the first iteration of it, the first deck, and then the second is just average and doesn't like uphold the standard.
I'm pretty sure it happens sometimes to me that like I get a sample board and it was like better quality than like the average production line, let's say.
Yeah.
Then it felt like, okay, it was like made for me because I like recognized my name when I like try to order it and just check it out, and then like if you really place an order to get like a bunch of decks for FBS, it's like okay.
Yeah, I feel like that happens a lot with people who regularly review a product or stuff like that. A bunch of times I've seen reviews from them and then seen the product myself and was like, this kind of looks different. But
yeah, I'm not a big fan of like reviews. Like I get a lot of requests for like, can I do a review for you? And I always feel like that's a bit dishonest. Like I'm super happy if like somebody gets a package from me and puts up a video on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
That's like, that was their intention and their idea, and like I'm like not asking people like to do reviews of my stuff or whatever.
Yeah, like asking people, especially someone like you who basically sells a bunch of different brands, asking someone like that for reviews, basically just asking for free stuff.
Yeah.
Because
But
it doesn't help you. Like a review probably doesn't help you as much as it helps the people to get free stuff. Because you're at the level where most people in the scene know about you. So from a marketing level to boost that, it would take a lot.
But what about you in personal? Have you tried everything you sell?
Of course. That's I really did. Like
yeah.
Like, as you said, you like into like checking the boards out, and like I can't put something on the store that I never tried before and tell people it's good. But I also do, besides like trying the stuff myself, like when you write the description for stuff, you have like your own ideas, but I also always try to like ask the person who makes like the decks or the wheels or whatever to like give me like his ideas about the stuff. Like, what's like different, the difference to other like decks, or what's special about it, because like sometimes you just say, okay, it's a good board and it's like flat concave, low kicks or whatever, but you can't really like tell the exact details why this person is making the decks like they are.
I think nowadays a lot of people start to know about you actually before they place an order at your web shop. For example, I only knew about FBS tape when I came back, because I haven't been in the scene for nearly a decade and was at the shop. So there was at the Aussie Berlin shop, so it was no need for me to buy online. So then I found the tape because someone said that's the best stuff. And I didn't even know like what FBS stood for or what's behind it, because I was basically new to everything. So
and in the shop it's kind of it's almost a constant. Everyone uses FBS.
Yeah, and so when how did that come to be that you ordered that you offered that tape? Because I think that tape basically did a small revolution as far as tape goes on fingerboards, because now everything is like that. Back then, when I was around, we only had the rip sheets from Black River that were already pre-cut to a Berlin wood and stuff like that. So it was a bit different when Timo handed me my first sheet of FBS and was like, "Do you know how to put that on?" And I was like, "Didn't it come pre-cut back then?"
Oh, really? You just remember you were like stop fingerboarding when there was just a pre-cut stuff?
Wow. 2007.
Well, when I started with the tape, it was like there was like the skateboard grip tape, and then like the rip tape from Black River, and I'm not sure what happened back then, but there was like a period where I felt like the rip tape I got when I ordered from Black River was a bit different every time. And I also talked to other people online, and they said, yeah, I feel the same. And sometimes it was really, really good. And sometimes like 2 or 3 months later, when you ordered another pack, it was like, it felt different. And I personally, it was way better than skateboard grip tape, of course. But personally, I never really had that like grippy feeling on grip tape.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, same with the bushings, with the O-rings, like I just went out and like tried to find another tape, and actually like also ordered samples and was like sitting on my desk like rubbing my fingers on like little squares of different tape, and that's how it happened. I just found something that felt good, and yeah, ordered it a bit bigger to actually put it on the board and try it, and that's how it happened.
I think I had one of your old sheets on my first Berlinwood. It had that net, white net on the gluing surface, which was a pain in the ass to get up.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, one of the best glues, one of the best contact glues I ever tried. Could rip off a wall with that.
You couldn't remove it. It was terrible. Actually, that's the only thing I changed about it in all those years. That I changed the glue on the backside and let them remove the net and just have like plain glue on the back.
Yeah, I
think
remember.
It was an improvement.
Yeah, it was hellish. I remember a homie of mine that ripped his Berlinwood to shreds. It even had chips, you know. And he tried to change the tape, and a bit of the top ply just came off. It was like, okay,
terrible.
Time for a new deck. The tape just decided it's time for a new deck.
Yeah, it was stuck like permanently.
Yeah.
But now that's fixed for like a couple of years already.
Yeah.
Nowadays I see people online saying like, oh, I got some new FBS, and they mean a different brand, because for them FBS is just a synonym for that style of tape, which is always a bit strange to me.
Wait,
that's
what?
The first time I heard about that. Like, I always see like people talking about RIP, like they got a new sheet of RIP, like meaning like it's a sign of kind of tape.
Yeah, I specifically heard people talk about that Fingerboard Connoisseur has the best FBS, and I was confused at first, and then finally figured out what they were trying to say, and I think they're wrong, but that's not the point. Yeah, a lot of like pretty much most people I know write FBS only, and a lot of people have their specific routine to get it worn in. Do you do anything to, or do you just set it up and write it?
Slap it on.
I set it up, and like for the regular tape that's not engraved, I just use like a sticker or like this painter tape and just like clean it off. And like do this like after a couple of hours in like first few weeks, and just like get the dirt out of like the pores and stuff. And for like the laser engraved tape, I put on a bit of water, like just a drop of water, rub it in, like then take like kitchen towel or a tissue or something, pat it dry, and then do the sticker thing again.
Yes.
Just to like the fine dust of the tape.
Yeah, I do a similar thing with the non-engraved tape as well. Like I always use a drop of water, rub it in, let it dry for a second, and
Yeah, I have my routine that takes about a quarter of an hour. Don't mind me.
What is it? I'm curious.
I use slightly salted water. I rub it in, then rinse it again with regular water. Do that 3 times, and then it's almost perfectly worn in, and it stays like that for a month, and then it dies. Just spontaneously starts to rip at the nose, and then it's gone. Or I mean, rip at the nose. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. If it's like 2 millimeters off, then it's like I need a new sheet. But I'm curious about holes or no holes, like screw holes for the trucks.
No holes.
No.
I'm team no hole. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I want like the maximum surface area covered with tape.
Me too.
And I'm also like a person, like if I set up a board, when the tape sucks, usually the whole deck is like done. So I'm not the person that like changes the trucks a lot of times. So I'm okay with covering the holes.
Yeah,
okay, I get that.
I do change the trucks a lot because I usually swap all my decks around on a regular basis, but I still hate holes, and I put them on only if I need to remove the trucks.
Oh yeah, we had that a couple of times with your setup, and I was like, just unscrew the. Oh.
Yeah, but also I got accustomed to finding the screw holes and not messing up the grip. But yeah.
Oh really? That works?
Yeah, that absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's cool.
Do you are you someone who writes a lot of decks, like a lot of different decks at the same time, or do you have usually one main setup that you stick with?
I usually have one main setup, but like when I like transition to a new setup, I tend to have like two at the same time, because like the old one is like still good and the new one is just too fresh. And so sometimes I'm in between setups. Like right now, I think I have three. Like one is like 7 or 8 months old, and it's like still like too good to like take it apart. And the middle one is like 3 months. It's perfect, and I just set up a new deck like 2 weeks ago to check out the shape and everything. And so the middle one is perfect. That's the main setup, and yeah.
Okay, we lost Julian as it seems, but
looks like it.
Let's hope he comes back. That messed me. So when you was there a point where you transitioned to it being a full-time job? Like, was there a point where you were like, yeah, that's actually a career choice, or like a thing I could do for my adult living, or was it always like, let's see how long this goes?
Yeah, well, I started in high school, so it was like always like a side thing, like going to high school and then going to university. And actually, it's still sort of a side thing because I'm finishing up my master's degree. But I'm like at the point, like I can't imagine like working a 9-to-5 office job or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like I want to do this like full time. Yeah. And actually, I'm doing it right now full time, just waiting to do my like public defense for my master's degree. Yeah. So it's full time for like 3 years.
Cool. So, what was your studies, if I may ask?
My master is in marketing, and I went to university in Porto, actually.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, it's cool to have that connection of the scenes. Did you move, or did you decided to study in Porto because of the scene, or was it you happened to be there and then discovered the scene?
Well, I knew the guys from Portugal, and specifically from Porto, like Ricardo and the other guys, like a couple of years already, and went there a few times. Well, I just looked for like a marketing program, and like I didn't find a good one that I really liked in Germany. So I started to look in Europe, and like I found one in Portugal, and it happened to be in Porto, and I signed up, and they took me. And I ended up living in the next street behind Patio, so it was just around the corner.
Cool.
So it definitely influenced the choice to move to Porto.
I can imagine. Yeah, Patio is a cool place. It's quite rad. What I always ask when I look at your page is, like, what I ask myself is, how the hell do you store that stuff and keep it organized? Like, do you have a system for that, or do you just have it in a bunch of drawers and hope for the best?
Like back in the days, like the first like 2 or 3 years, it really was like just in a drawer, and like I like knew what it was and where it is. But like when I started my university, my bachelor degree, I moved to a different city, and all the stuff like was at my parents' house. So then was the time I started to get a system, like getting from the hardware store, like small like plastic boxes where you can usually like store screws and stuff, and just put on like labels like with the name and give like every product like a number. And so now it's really organized and like everybody could basically like get this stuff.
Yeah, I think at a certain point that has to happen, or otherwise it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, like if you have like too many different stuff and like everything starts with the same name, like it's, I don't know, flat face wheels, and then you have just like G4D, G4 whatever, and like everything looks the same to an outsider. Then you gotta put like labels and stuff.
Yeah, once was at the Asi Berlin shop where Ramon wasn't sure if a type of brand was a mini core, like a mini wheel, or the regular wheel of that company. And we stood there for like 10 minutes and we're like, no, I think this should be this one. I can imagine with that small scale, it's sometimes a bit tricky to tell everything apart when you don't have it in hand every day.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Now I'm a bit lost without Julian, to be honest. Since your whole involvement in the community, I know that you traveled a bunch. Like I think you went to Rendezvous and obviously to Pateo and the German events. Is there a place like fingerboarding wise that you would like to visit?
That I haven't been to?
Yeah. Or did you basically visit mostly everything?
Definitely not. I'm sure there are places out there I don't even know about yet. But I definitely would like to go to California again. I just went there once, I think last year. And like there's a huge community out there, and like
it's huge.
Really to check that out, what's going on there. Then there is like a guy in Texas that has like sort of a store or like a meetup place. Then in Taiwan, there's a fingerboarder, Karat fingerboarding. When I visited him 2015, he was like organizing like small events in skate shops, and now he has like his own fingerboard place like in a mall or something.
Cool. Yeah, I think a lot of these places fly a bit under the radar when they're not in Europe or America, because I think these two scenes are most involved with Instagram and stuff. So I for example didn't knew about the whole scene behind Plankton and everything. Like I think it's Philippines, if I'm.
No, it's Indonesia. Actually,
Indonesia.
Yeah. Too. Also pretty nice dudes.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome people.
So you basically visited everything.
Like, not everything. We still
a lot of it.
Go like Australia and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Or like South America, there are like a bunch of people having small stores or like organized events and stuff. So there's a lot outside Europe and the US.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like I said, sometimes we forget about those places, and only talk about Asi and stuff like that, and Mike.
Yeah, it's like the physical place like everybody knows, like Asi Berlin shop and like Mike's store that's like open for the rendezvous and the store sessions, but there are like many more places, but they're like only known to like local people, or like if you really go looking for it, I think.
Yeah. And was there ever, like, do you have a favorite out of those places that you visited?
Probably Pateo, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's not too big, and it feels a bit like, not just because I lived around the corner, but also because like I know Ricardo for a couple of years, and like I saw his son basically grow up. So it's a bit like coming home every time, like coming to Pateo, and all the guys are there, and like I think it's like if you ever went to an event and like started to get to know people and meet them more often, it's really like sort of family sometimes. Like you have the people you're like more connected with. You're not like up to date on everything, and it's not like with your friends that live in your area, but you can always like pick up a conversation from like the last meeting, or like having personal conversations and stuff around fingerboarding and like even different topics and stuff.
I always find it amazing that it sometimes happens that you don't see people for years, and then they come back, and it's usually like when they left.
Yeah, true.
I'm back as well. Phone died.
You're still a bit rotated right now.
Oh yeah, right. Wait, give me a sec. Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we basically talked about international travel and international fingerboard places and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. International travel.
Yeah. It's not happening.
Ironic at this time. We were both going to rendezvous, and I think that's not happening.
It's not happening.
Pretty sure that's not. We're all confined to our homes and are patiently awaiting for the situation to somehow better itself by miracle.
I mean, the good thing about fingerboarding is that you can actually do it at home, like compared to skateboarding, which I think must suck at the moment. It's much easier to have the ability to still do your hobby while in lockdown.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of the most practical hobbies. Is Katha still here?
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Just been,
all good.
Been near here for a while. Yeah, and we seem to be like pretty versatile. I mean, this thing that just came up, the Battle of the Gram, that just got launched. I think yesterday.
Yeah,
was it yesterday.
Like by time of recording, it got launched yesterday, I think.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool concept. It stems from the idea of Battle at the Barracks, which generated Battle at the Herrick's. That was actually a faux pas. I wanted to say Herrick's. Anyway. And it is basically a game of skate tournament consisting of 32 riders of all kinds of nationalities competing online, live, against each other in a game of skate on flat ground.
Do any of you have a favorite for that? Katha, do you have a favorite in that?
Well, I watched the live stream yesterday, and first of all, like big props to everyone who was involved in organizing it. As sad as it sounds, it like is the right time to do it now, because we are like we are all stuck inside. We have nothing else to do anyways.
Yeah.
And it's like it keeps your mind off things a bit. And really, it was the first time yesterday that I actually got hyped about an online event, because like Timo and Ramon, like they're hosting like every German contest, like always doing the moderation and stuff, and you really got the vibe a bit, like when you you really got a bit of the vibe from the web from the live stream, and I'm really looking forward to watch it. And like in terms of favorites, I posted like my tip for semi-final and final, and I think the left side on the brackets it's like semi-final is Stolli versus Valentin, and on the right side Francisco versus Pedro Oliveira. So Germany versus Portugal in the final.
Like
that's my
best
tip,
buddies.
I can't decide like who of the four will take it, but I think one of those.
Yeah, that's definitely a possible one. Like I never count against Ramon in a game of skate, because he lands everything if he wants to. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. I personally root for Henneman a lot, because he's another one of the shop locals here. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough.
If Henneman has a good day,
yeah,
and is in his element, it's like almost impossible to get a letter in him.
Yeah,
even with the really techie stuff. I had a game against him.
Stuff.
Yeah, I had a game against him, and we remember both that game pretty fondly. We had all the inward heel revert variations in a row, done by both. Like inward heel, revert, fake inward heel, nollie switch, and he just didn't flinch.
Sometimes game skates are crazy. Like you can't really predict it. It like really depends. How you're feeling, and like some days you get like the nollie heel, and some days you just don't have it. Or,
for sure.
Usually have a luck, but I'm really looking forward to it, like how they judge it, and I think it's fair play. Like, be honest if you like don't like things and stuff, because I think the like video quality and stuff will like affect the visibility if you actually land it like fingertips.
For sure. But I think it's also a pretty different dynamic from a usual contest, because as the rider, you don't have that enormous pressure from being watched by a crowd. Like, the crowd is there, it is in the live stream, but I don't know if that would affect me as much psychologically as just being at home in a live stream, you know?
Yeah, but I can also imagine some people need that crowd reaction. Like, I, for example, do way better in a contest situation than not. Like, when I have people watching or in a contest and I have to do a game of skate, I'm usually better than when I play just for fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
I've been to a contest the day before the lockdown, so the last thing I did was going to a fingerboard contest, which So and there I won the contest, I won the game of skate thing, and I won 3 best trick contests, and I don't think I have all of those tricks that I did on lock. Like, some just happened.
Sometimes pressure can actually trigger you.
Let's see how it turns out.
For sure.
Are there any people either of you are missing from the battle at the Gram? Like, is there someone you would want to see?
Like, there are only 32 people, so there are a lot of people missing.
Yeah.
But it's also like hard to choose, like.
Yes.
And what I think it's really good they don't this time. It's not only like the known people. Like, there are some names on the list that are not so well known, and also the kid Nico Frank played like Game of Skate on Instagram a couple of days before. Like, I don't know his name or his handle, but he was like super hyped about winning a Game of Skate against Nico. And he's now also in the battle. Like, nobody knows him except from the stream, the stream on Instagram, I think. And if they do like a second round, like, they need to be like, it's no problem to do it. Like,
absolutely.
Good people to add in there.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Adrian Witzel would be great to see. Fabian Schreiter.
Fabi always had, like, he has the really technical tricks, and he sometimes struggles with like regular tricks, especially normal regular tricks. Like,
also some fun stuff to see, like some crazy tricks like that you don't see like every day.
That's true.
Within the rules, like no handstand stuff.
It's always
that's kind of the thing.
It's always one of my favorite to play a game of Everything Counts against Fabi. Because we can both throw the wacky stuff out there, and because we both grew up with that kind of stuff, and it's fun to see those tricks once in a while.
but I also think he could be like a fierce opponent if he has a good day, and he serves, and he's determined, which I don't think are three things that can happen all in the same day. But still, if it does, then it's 5 tricks. It's just, you don't do that stuff, just maybe by accident. You know?
He definitely has more than 5 tricks, which I could never do, and I think
exactly
he has those for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's like the interesting thing, like people having tricks that are so crazy. You're like, okay, it's like you own that trick. It's like impossible to copy it, but those people then still throw in like regular tricks to make it like interesting to watch, like not only like what I don't like at Game of Skate if somebody like recognizes the one trick you can't do. Like, let it be heel flips or something, and then they do like all the heel flip variations just to like knock you out. That's like not. It's the point of Game of Skate to win, but it's like not fun. Like if you just do like heel flips all the time.
That actually happened to me in a Game of Skate for the Discord server. We did a bracket, and the people who made the bracket didn't know who I was. Like they knew my name, but they didn't know anything about me. So I got paired at the 32nd seed against the number 1 seed. So yeah, it was quite a hard Game of Skate. I got paired against Ben Dulac, who also did the intro for this podcast. He's a cool dude. But yeah, he basically knocked me out cold. Like he did a nollie heel, I failed. He did a switch heel, I failed. He did nollie inward heel, switch inward heel, nollie inward heel revert. And I was out. Yeah. But
well, yeah.
But yeah, I also like the interesting Game of Skates, but I can also understand sometimes the competitive bug gets to you. So should we get to the finish with a quick round of rapid fire, or
that's cool.
Do you have another question to ask before that?
I think we're good to go. If Katha doesn't have anything to add, then we're good to go with the rapid fire, which I will have to visualize because I'm a lazy fuck. Give me a second.
Yeah, we haven't done the rapid fire in a while, so
good questions. All right, should we do alternate?
Yeah, let's do it like that.
All right, you start.
Favorite deck shape, like deck or shape?
Like flat with medium kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
no specific brand.
Specific brand, Piratenholz.
Oh, that's a rare one. You don't hear that one often.
No, you don't.
Favorite trick in flat?
Half clap flip.
Favorite trick in an obstacle?
Okay. Favorite trick in an obstacle. Hard flip backside crooks.
That's a cool one.
That's a hard one.
It's fun.
Favorite
like, tricks,
like fuck inertia. Favorite obstacle?
That's a hard one. Let me see. The bench from Loft. I don't know how it's called. The ledge thing. The one that you always use.
Yeah. That's a cool one.
Right now,
that's probably the one I would take with me on a deserted island that magically had a wonderfully well lit fingerboard table.
Yeah, I could live with that. That would be
and an endless supply of FBS tape.
Oh yeah, probably. And a deck that magically didn't get completely wet and all fucked up by the salt water. Anyway.
But the salt water is good for the tape.
Yeah, but not for the barracks. All right. Jana, you're up?
Yeah, am I? Okay.
Yeah.
Outdoor fingerboarding or indoor fingerboarding?
Indoor for the awesome surface and outdoor for the good footage.
Okay. That's a good. Huh? I don't get
skip
the
that
next
one. Skip that one.
Oh, okay. Concrete or wood?
Concrete.
Like, okay.
Switch or regular?
Regular.
What do you prefer? A flat ground with an obstacle or a park?
That's also a tough one. I would say flat ground with an obstacle.
Flip or kick flip?
Heel flip.
Yeah. Favorite fingerboarder?
Like in terms of style or like altogether?
Let's do both.
Who do you like watching the most?
Yeah. Who entertains you most watching?
I would say, damn, what's his Instagram? I think like Finger Snacks or something. I can give you like the name after the recording. He's like
okay. Yana will probably manage to link it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yana?
Yeah. Finger Snacks is actually a teammate of mine.
Oh, really?
A fellow 5-Luck team member. Just wanted to make sure that I didn't mess it up. First contest.
The first event was like the 2006 Stabilo demo, and like after that, probably Fast Fingers something.
Cool. Loose or tight trucks?
Medium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last trick you learned.
Last trick I learned.
Or you landed and was proud of, or
landed it and was proud of was like laser flip yesterday.
I hate that trick. I never land that.
It's awesome when you like land it and like it doesn't look like you just randomly flip your board, but actually do it on purpose.
Yeah.
The last trick I learned, I don't know. No idea. Still learning like switch and nollie heel flips. It's still a work in progress.
Aren't we always learning those? One or multiple setups?
Usually one.
Yeah.
Trick you hate the most to do, either to do or to watch?
Nollie inward heel. I think it's super ugly to watch and like.
Yeah.
Like for the skill you need to do it, it's not nice.
Yeah.
Like this.
Much way more effort than it should for something like that.
As a paradox, that's kind of the nollie heel variation that comes easiest to me. Like nollie very heel, I can't do it to save my life.
I can do that.
Anyway.
Yeah, for me it's the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't deal well with inertia. Anyway. The next one that's up is plastic or urethane wheels?
Or another material, because there have been
okay.
up lately.
Yeah, let's be inclusive. There's always resin. Sorry, Henneman.
Nylon.
Urethane.
Nylon. Urethane. Specific brand?
Oak wheels.
Yeah, I figured. Makes sense.
Do you like fingerboarding sober or drunk more?
I'm okay with sober. But the crazy stuff happens after a few drinks.
Yeah.
I'm more hyped about it, for sure.
Your sponsors?
Piratenholz.
This is more like an info question.
Yeah, Piratenholz. That's it.
Let's.
I can't call myself, I guess.
I'm gonna improvise. Let's flip that. Who do you sponsor, or do you sponsor people?
Yeah, I do sponsor people.
Yeah.
And Actually, I get this question a lot of times because I don't have like a list somewhere where the people are on.
Yeah.
So on my team are Harry, Ramon, TKY, Gene Sangus,
Yeah.
Peter Ringe. That's the guys from Germany. Then from Austria, it's Lucas Galos. From Brazil, Jada Müller. And then I got a few guys from Asia when I did the tour there.
Cool.
Clark Lin from Taiwan. He's doing karate fingerboarding. From the Philippines, Fred Fortuno. And from Indonesia, Sultan Erza. He was in Berlin, like for Bad Letter Herrix or something a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah,
Cool. That's quite a list.
Cool. Yeah, and you actually got them all like on log.
Yeah, it's not that many people, so.
Oh well.
I can remember them.
Favorite Instagram follower? No, wait.
Yeah.
No, this question was designed differently.
My favorite follower.
What account would you suggest
to follow?
Yeah.
Or whose content do you enjoy the most on Instagram?
Right now, it's Valentin's new account, Valentin.
Yeah.
Like the videos he's like uploading, it's ridiculous. Like the attention he puts like to editing the video, like it's just entertainment. Even if it's just one line or one trick, it's pure entertainment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
32 or 34 millimeter?
32.
Yes, gang. Favorite overall company, like philosophy-wise or product-wise, something like that.
Oak Wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, yeah, thank you so much for making time. It was awesome having you via this online thing. Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was quite fun.
Yeah, it was. So, yeah.
Have a good one and see you hopefully soon when this is all a bit dialed down. Maybe at Azzy.
Hopefully. Yeah. Bye.
Hopefully at Azzy. Bye.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hope so too, yeah. Yeah, stay safe, guys, and
for sure.
See you soon.